Well, that is the end of the top four. Well, this time it's gone right through and past everybody. Take a couple of runs. Dillon is the bowler, continuing, and that's an excellent shot. Once again, it's Peterson, brilliantly placed, and that goes away to the boundary. Brilliant timing on that one, and beautifully picked up in the end as well by Peterson. KT Peterson, a very experienced cricketer as well, of course, right at the top of the order. And once again, just through the offside. And that single did bring up the 50 now for the Pacific Sunrays, and they are in a very good position here now. 50 for 1. And now McKinley Blues is on strike. McKinley Blues, the Australian cricketer, well, this time just getting through. And in fact, she's bowled has she? Yes, she has. It has gone on to hit the top of off stump. And McKinley Blues, the Australian, has to depart here. Well, the left and right hand combination you would feel was working out there for the Pacific Sunrays. But not quite so after that delivery, as she has to depart, making Leblos and the second wicket for Dillon. Well, absolutely superb by Brie Dillon. She is a versatile all rounder for the Meteors, and she is doing a valiant job out here. A couple of wickets, and in comes Gordon. Just pushed on the offside, nicely fielded. Well, 50 for 2 at the moment, the Pacific Sunrays, as Mia Gordon has come in here at number 4, at the right at the heart of the batting order. But this time it struck the pad and definitely maybe just angling down the leg side. Nonetheless, that's the end of the seventh over. Another successful one for Bree Dillon. It is 50 for 2 after 7. Right then, it's going to be Erika Toguchi Quinn to continue. She represents her country as a specialist spin bowler for Japan. She has a few leading wicket-taking performances in her national side, but that one will be a no ball. That's a wayward one, and now a free hit coming up for Mia Gordon. Opportunity to try and go big. Well, we will wait and see on how it pans out. She is yet to get off the mark, and no better way to get off the mark than with a boundary on the free hit. She charges down the wicket, and well, that's a dot delivery. Gets away with it. Maybe just trying to hit it too hard in the end. Once again, charging down the wicket, and this time she will be off the mark with a quick single towards the fielder at mid on. So Mia Gordon is finally off the mark of a fifth delivery and gives the strike back to Katie Peterson. Katie Peterson also represents the South Australia Scorpions in the WNCL and has played the WBBL cricket for Sydney Thunder and the Sydney Sixers. So a lot of experience out there. Once again, played on the leg side, straight to the fielder. And now a tossed up delivery, once again charging down the wicket, but once again straight to the fielder. Well, that is the end of the over. A very good one, this by the right arm off spinner Erika Tochugi Quinn. 54 for 2 after 8. Well, 54 for 2 at the moment. And Katie Peterson is trying to anchor the innings here. 17 of 22 at the moment. Well, another change in the bowling here for the ACT Meteors. Amber Smith is continuing here. A genuine all rounder. And an excellent shot once again by Peterson that runs away to the fence. Well, can't offer that kind of a delivery to someone who is set for 23 deliveries. And that has been placed beautifully. Well, we are in this match number 2 now of this Women's Japan Premier League. The first one was an absolute cracker where the Titans won that game by 18 runs up against the defending champions, Mamushi. Well, four sides competing in it, and all four of these are playing on this first day itself. This time wanting to cut that one away. Another dot delivery for Amber Smith. Once again, just charging down the wicket and played it behind square on the leg side. And now one more delivery left in this ninth over. It's been a decent one by the Australian. Once again, cut away and straight to the fielder. So just the five of this Amber Smith over. It is 59 for 2 for the Pacific Sunrays. We'll continue now in this ninth, and once again a cracking stroke, and that's excellent piece of fielding out there in the deep. Taking a couple of runs, hitting that one really hard there. Katie Peterson. This time charging down the wicket and once again playing it on the leg side is the 23-year-old. And that brings Mia Gordon back on strike. But Mia Gordon has been struggling, but this time again a no ball by Quinn. It's gone high and it's gone one bounce and over the rope towards that cow corner region. And now a freeing up as well for Mia Gordon. This is bonus for the Australian. Charging down the wicket, and it was above the shoulder height as well in the end. Maybe just off the hands of. Well, that's the second time we are seeing something like that. And second hit once again for Mia Gordon, and a low full toss played down the ground over the fielder at mid-on, and that will run away to the fence as well. So taking full advantage of it this time. On the previous occasion, she could not quite take the advantage, but now she does. And the Pacific Sunrays are cruising all of a sudden at this stage of the game. A brilliant shot. Well, once again, not the best of the deliveries you would feel by Quinn. But Mia Gordon showing the class that she possesses. The two Australians out there are combining really well for the Pacific Sunrays. Mia Gordon and Katie Peterson. Once again charging down the wicket and just over the fielder. And that one is also going to run away to the fence. Or is it? Yes, it has. Just makes it in the end. Third boundary of the over. Very expensive over this by Quinn. And all of a sudden it's raining boundaries out here at the Sano International Cricket Ground. Beautifully picked up through the leg side and into the fence. Just trickles away in the end. Once again charging down the wicket, pushes it through the offside straight to the fielder. So that one won't do any damage. Well, 16 runs come off the Quinn over. At the end of the 10th, it is 75 for 2 for the Pacific Sunrays, and the umpires have called for drinks. Right then, Amber Smith continuing. So the Australian bowler up against the two Australian batters. Well, a quick refreshment has been done by the players as we continue once again. Mia Gordon on strike. Plays it on the leg side for another single. Well, this time down the ground, but won't quite find the fence. Finds the fielder at long on who gets across. Well, that one was inside the guideline, so a dot delivery. But they need a few tight overs now, the ACT Meteors. And this time she's gone big, it's gone high. Is that a chance? Well, the fielder is getting across. And she collects it on the bounce in the end, and they take a couple of runs. Well, Mia Gordon all of a sudden is looking dangerous out there. She wants to play those big shots. Well, a dot to close it out. It is 80 for 2 after 11. Well, Nikam is continuing and not the best of the deliveries that time. It's been given as a no ball because it has pitched outside the pitching area. So another free hit for Mia Gordon. That's the third time she is getting this. But it seems like she has bought a lottery ticket today. Or in fact, she should because it has been her afternoon so far in terms of getting those free hits. Another bonus opportunity. Slower one picked up through the offside. Running the first one hard, coming back for the second, and they will make it quite comfortably. But it is very important for all these players to perform well as well because you just never know what is coming through. If you perform well in this tournament, you get more opportunities somewhere else. So it is more like an interview for them as well. And not only the concentration should be about the Women's Japan Premier League. This time a wide delivery by Nikam. Well, another wayward delivery, and will that be another no ball? Past the wicket keeper too. Yes, the umpire is signaling it, and runs once again just keeping on flowing out here. And the ACT Meteors, well, they're just not quite able to get the radar right. Well, finally, it is a free hit to Kate Peterson. Does she go big? Charges down the wicket, plays it on the leg side in the gap. Once again, protection out there, so only a single. Gets away with it, does Nikam on the second occasion. Well, this time in the air, and it will land safely in the end, just over the fielder square leg. Well, once again in the air, chance, and it's been dropped. Well, that was the chance to break this partnership. And how costly will that be? Mia Gordon is looking in very good nick out there. And you have to take your chances, and the Pacific Sunrays, they're cruising at this stage. Well, 92 for 2 after the end of the 12th over. Well, Kato is back into the attack. 2 overs, none for 3. She's been extremely economical. As Kate Peterson plays that one on the leg side. Once again, just played on the leg side. Well, this has been superb by Kato. She has been very economical, and she's applying a lot of pressure as well, not giving away any bonus runs, and even getting in those dot deliveries. The dot call The dot count pressure will increase, of course, but at the moment the Pacific Sunrays are in a very good stage in this game, 94 for 2, and maybe they would be eyeing somewhere around 160 from here on, at the least, if not more. This time played in the gap on the offside. Well, this time wanting to play it on the leg side, and she ends up hitting her own foot. So that's a dot delivery. So the last delivery of this 13th over coming up now. And well, wanted to cut that one away. And that's a dot to end it once again. Just the 4 runs of this Kato over at the end of the 13th. It's 96 for 2 for the Pacific Sunrays. Right then, so Dillon is back into the attack. This time charging down the wicket and played back to Dillon. Bree Dillon has been superb so far. A couple of wickets down at the moment for the Pacific Sunrays, and both of them have been awarded to Bree Dillon. And is that number 3? Yes, it is. The slow dry finger of the umpire goes up. Well, for a moment it felt as if Rudy Kurtzen is out there. He likes to raise his finger slowly, and it was definitely going on to hit the stumps. And Brie Dillon, well, she's once again amongst those wickets. And the third one gone, and it's the well set Peterson who has to depart, 97 for 3. This time tucked away on the leg side. Well, Michelle is in. Once again, plays it on the leg side. And Grace Michelle comes in at number 5, who is off the mark straight away. And once again, pushed through the offside. So that is the end of the 14th over. It is 99 for 3. Right then, Kato continuing, and that's very unfortunate. Well, that will bring up the 100 for the Pacific Sun Rays, that boundary. We're waiting for the umpire signal if that will be given us wides. Well, in fact, it seems like it's been given as a no ball by the umpire. Well, very unfortunate for Kato. It just spoils her figures out here at the moment. Nonetheless, the 100 is up now for the Pacific Sun Rays, 103 for 3, as they push on to try and get somewhere in the region of 160. Once again, hit hard and straight to the fielder out there in the deep. Well, once again, beautifully bowled by Kato. Well, that was given as 5 wides, confirmed. It wasn't a no ball. Nonetheless, Michelle is on strike now, who has faced 3 deliveries for her 1 run. She needs to move on, as we are about to enter the slog overs. They have those 7 wickets in hand, and very important to try and maximize this opportunity to post a big total. ACT Meteors also do have a very strong batting lineup. So Mia Gordon back on strike. And once again in the air, but on the bounce. And Grace Michelle is back on strike. But the last delivery or this 15th over coming up. And once again wanting to drive that one, but misses out. So that is now the end of the 15th, with the score at 107 for 3 for the Pacific Sunrays. Well, once again, nicely taken this time, and Amber Smith, she strikes. Well, Michelle will have to depart. Her short stay at the crease comes to an end. And that's a superb take. Never easy. Outstretched hand towards her right. And the Pacific Sunrays, well, you would feel they are losing their way now slightly. 108 for 4, another 28 deliveries still left in the innings. And the ACT Meteors are trying their best to get back into it. Well, Nehal has come in here to bat at number 6, Gurbani Nehal. The Indian, but she is from the Japan cricket pathway. Well, she has the ability of influencing the game from here on. Meanwhile, a couple of dots and then a wide, and now pushed on the next side. So that's another dot delivery straight to the fielder once again. And all of a sudden, things are becoming extremely tight out here. Mia Gordon just wanting to have a word there with Gurbani Nehal, trying to make sure that she does not panic here because she has faced 3 consecutive dot deliveries, can't afford to lose more wickets. This time just pushed back at the bowler. So excellent over by Amber Smith coming to an end. At the end of the 16th, it's 109 for 4. Right then, Quinn will continue now. Quinn, who bowled a couple of no balls in a previous over, she gave away 16 in a second, and an opportunity for her to rectify it. As Mia Gordon takes the single and once again gives the strike to Gurbani Nehal, who is yet to get off the mark. Well, a lot relies now on the next couple of overs. At one stage, it looked as if 160 was pretty much certain, and now even 140 is looking a bit difficult out there for the Pacific Sunrays. This time it's been cut away, but straight to the fielder. Quinn making amends for the mistakes that she made on earlier on. Well, five dot deliveries faced now by Gurbani Niyar, and she needs to do something. She has to either go for it or at least rotate the strike. This time a flighted delivery. Once again, straight to the fielder at mid off, and a slight misfield. Well, they're scampered for that single somehow to give the strike back to Mia Gordon. This time charging down the wicket, and that's a wicket. Another set batter gone. Well, Nelson strikes. How often do we see a wicket falling at triple one? And the ACT Meteors, well, they are right back into this one now. It's 111 for 5, and the well set Mia Gordon departs for 29. Well, the new player in is Vidge, and she tucks it on the leg side, gets off the mark straight away. So that is now the end of the 17th. A successful over for Quinn, an outstanding one. Just the three coming off it. It's 112 for 5 now after 17. Well, Amber Smith is now bowling this 18th over. Well, all of a sudden, these boundaries have dried up, and now two Indians out there at the crease, Guhika Vij and Gurbani Nehal, and both are struggling to even get singles altogether. Amber Smith now coming around the wicket to the left-handed Guhika Vij. Well, this is really a chance to restrict the opposition here for the ACT Meteors. This time it struck the pad and maybe just angling down the leg side, so the umpire is not interested. This time in the air, and well, that's safely right in front of the fielder. It's another dot delivery. And this time it struck the pad, another appeal, and the umpire is not interested once again. So now one more delivery left in this 18th over. This time picked up in the end just over the fielder. And after three consecutive dots, they have taken the single. This is excellent by the ACT Meteors. And Amber Smith, have a look at this figures. 4 overs, 1 for 15. It's 115 for 5 now after 18 overs. Well, Quinn is bowling this penultimate over of the innings, and this is absolutely fantastic by the ACT Meteors. Well, Quinn, who conceded 16 runs in 1 over, has the figures 1 for 23 and 3.3. That is how economical she has been, apart from that 1 over, where she let slip on a couple of occasions. Once again, wanting to cut away, that's four consecutive dot deliveries. Well, we were talking about 160 at one stage. Have a look at the score at the moment. It's 115 for 5, just 8 more deliveries left in the innings. This is absolutely brilliant by the spinners of the ACT Meteors. Now charging down the wicket. Once again, scampering across. Quick single, direct hit needed. And they make it in the end. Well, finally, a run coming at the moment in this 19th over. And now one more delivery left. Well, Gurbani Nehal is back on strike, who is on 2 of 8 deliveries. Guhi Kavij, 4 of 11. This is just not what they were expecting the Pacific Sunrays. Last ball of this 19th, it's a full toss. It's been thumped away on the leg side. The fielder getting across, but it's gone away to the boundary. And a much needed boundary this. 5 runs come off the penultimate over of the innings. And well, once again, a full toss by Quinn. Well, she has missed out her length on a few occasions, and that is another one of those, a total gift out there. And that boundary, well, spoils the over in the end. 5 runs come off it at the end of the 19th. That's 120 for 5. Before heading into the last over. So, well, 131 was scored in the earlier game, in the first game of the Women's Japan Premier League. And 131 was defended successfully as well by the Titans. So it seems like this one will be slightly lesser than that, maybe, especially with the way these two are going. But that boundary will give some confidence to Gurbani Nehal, smashing that one through the leg side. Well, no surprises that Bree Dillon will be bowling this final over, and she has bowled superbly well once again. Outside the off stump, away from the arc of the batter, and bowls a dot delivery. Well, she has taken 3 of the 5 wickets out here. Those were the first three wickets, getting the top order out. Now played on the leg side by Guhikavich. Takes the single and brings Gurbani Nehal back on strike, who hit that boundary in the previous over. So she has shown some capability, and the two Indians out here, they have been struggling with the bat. They need to try and get as many as possible in the last four. Breathe on once again bowls it superbly well, right into the batter. Not quite able to get it away once again. Another dot delivered. Well, the dot count after the 15th over is absolutely massive. That is how good they have been. Once again in the air off a full toss. Well, she's missed out there. Well, they have made it across for the single. The throw not quite fast enough before the wicketkeeper could collect it. So another single, just the two of this final over as well. And now two more deliveries left. Well, all of a sudden things are looking very sorry for the Pacific Sunrays. Although they do have a decent bowler, it is something to bowl at for the bowlers. Of course, we saw 131 being defended, so this also could be a chance for them. But they should have had much more, especially with the way that they started. Another single this time, behind square. The sweeper on that leg side gets across. And now the last delivery of the innings. Bree Dillon, she's got a three for. Can she get a fourth? Gurbani Nehal on strike. She's hit that one hard towards the fielder at mid-off, and they get across for the single. Absolutely sensational this by the ACT Meteors. Just the 4 runs coming off the last over two. 124 for 5 is what the Pacific Sunrays have ended on. At one stage, it looked as if 160 is a clear possibility. Well, they have added only 30 more runs in the last 8 overs, would you believe it? As we see the batting card there at the top of the order, Noora Abdul Qadir. She was absolutely brilliant, 24 of 17, supported by Kate Peterson. Once Noora was gone, then Kate Peterson was joined out there by McKinley Blows and then by Mia Gordon, of course. The Australians combined really well. But have a look at that at the bottom of the innings. Guhikavich, 6 of 14, Gurmani Nehal, 8 of 12, and Grants Michelle, 2 of 7. Absolutely shambolic in the end for them, the Pacific Sunrays. And here is the bowling card for the ACT Meteors. Well, just the 1 over for Heidi Lever. She conceded 10 but never came back. And Shimako Kato, well, for me, she was one of the pick of the bowlers. None for 15, did not get any wickets, but very economical. Breeded on 4 overs, 3 for 20. And Amber Smith as well, 4 overs, 1 for 15. And Erika Toguchi Quinn, well, 4 overs, 1 for 28, but take nothing away. She conceded 16 in one of her overs. As you can see, that 10th over and also the fourth over going for 18, but still the Pacific Sunrays managed to get only 124 for 5. Have a look at that. Over number 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. None of them even getting 6 runs in a single over. 19th one got 5 thanks to the boundary by Gurbani Nehal, and that was the only boundary in the last 5 overs, would you believe it? It's been absolutely brilliant. As you can see, well, only 17 added in the last 5. They were 107 after 15. Right then, the target for the ACT Meteors is 125 when they come out to chase, and we will be back for the chase in a short while from now. Righty then, we are back here for the chase. The target is 125 for the ACT Meteors in the allotted 20 overs. So a game which is pretty much in the balance out here in this match number 2 of the Women's Japan Premier League. Starting off with pace with the new ball. And that one has kept low, wanting to hit that one hard through the offside. For the Pacific Sunrays, 3 without a wicket as Yasumoto will now continue in the second over. The left arm pacer. Well, Bree Dillon is off the mark and Bowler isn't yet, and now she is. Plays that one behind square on the leg side, and they get across for a couple of runs. Well, they need to go only at 6.25 runs and over if they want to chase this. And you would fancy the batting side, of course, in the modern day cricketing era, but Well, the Sano International Cricket Ground has produced a few funny things out here. Well, in fact, it seems like it is Blows who is bowling the second over. And she's cleaned him up. What a good delivery. Boulder will have to depart. Excellent, excellent delivery. And the ball goes on to crash onto the leg stump. That's brilliantly bowled. And Yasumoto strikes in her very first over, just off her second delivery. And that is the end of the innings of Boulder. 5 for 1. Right then, 5 for 1. And Yasumoto strikes early. This time the slower one, and it kept low as well. She's done really well to keep that one out. And they need to start off nicely the ACT Meteors. This time played on the leg side, and Carroll is off the mark. Rachel Carroll. Gets a couple of runs on that occasion. This time wanting to drive it, Rachel Carroll, and they get across for a quick single. So Rachel rotating the strike now and gives it to Brie Dillon, who bowled superbly well earlier on. Took those 3 wickets for herself. And now one more delivery left in the second over. It's been a successful one by Yasumoto. Can she close it out? Well, once again offered a lot of it, and that's been driven ever so hard, but there is protection out there. Not quite in the gap, so a single to close it out. 6 runs and a wicket coming off it at the end of the second. The ACT Meteors are 9 for 1. Well, then we continue now in this third over, and once again just pushed on the offside. Once again drives, and once again straight to the fielder. Well, this is good by the Pacific Sunrays. Well, they will know that they should have got much more than what they have, but this is what they have got, and they have accepted that and are trying to move on and trying to defend these runs. As Ananya Mahajan gave away just the 3 in the first, and now has given away just the 1 run so far in this over. Once again, charging down the wicket, but straight to the fielder at mid off. Will be cut off. Good bowling this by Ananya Mahajan. Just tempting the batter to drive. This time picked up on the leg side, and that will find the fence. So Rachel Carroll gets the boundary in. That's the first one of this innings. And finally, a move on for the ACT Meteors. It's an excellent shot, placing that one to perfection. This time she drives it through the offside. So the last delivery of this third over coming up, and improvising a shot, bringing in the ramp, and she takes the single towards the deep fine leg fielder. So that is now the end of the third. 6 runs coming out of this Ananya Mahajan over. At the end of the third, it's 15 for 1 for the ACT Meteors. Well, that's a chance dropped, and that should have been taken. That was a very easy chance, you would feel. And what a let off that is for the ACT Meteors, almost losing their second. Well, Yasumoto will be disappointed. She would feel that she should have got her second there. Nonoha Yasumoto. She's bowling really well at the moment. Once again in the air. Once again it stood up, but this time it's gone over the fielders. And it will run away to the fence. It will just trickle away in the end and breathe on after an exceptional bowling performance is now doing the job with the bat. Superbly hit down the ground, although the timing wasn't quite there, but just enough once again to get it across to the boundary. Once again, just played back at the bowler. Nice piece of bowling this by Yasumoto. Once again played down the ground, and only a single on that occasion. Well, a decent over once again this by Yasumoto. She would feel that she should have got a wicket. Nonetheless, that's the end of the fourth, with the score at 20 for 1. Right then, Ananya Mahajan is continuing here. Into the fifth over now of this second match of the second innings. And the second innings of the second match, rather. And Ananya Mahajan with a nice little spell so far. Not conceding too much at the moment. Keeping things tight inside the power play overs. Never easy for the bowlers. But also it brings in wicket taking opportunities as we see a wide down the leg side. And she is just not impressed with herself as Ananya Mahajan. Needs to reload it. And once again wanting to play through the offside and another wide delivery. The umpire seems to think that it is outside the guideline. So back to back wides by Ananya Mahajan. And it seems like it's the commentator's curse. And I'm sorry, Ananya. As the score moves on to 24 for 1. Rachel Carroll is on strike. She is on 10 of 11 deliveries. And once again, brings in the wrap. Well, will that be given as a wide? No, says the umpire. Well, that's a bit interesting. It was down the leg side. Just moving across, shuffling across. So Mahajan just trying to follow the batter. And Rachel Carroll has missed out on the opportunity. But the fine leg is inside the circle. And there is a deep backward square leg who is extremely wide too. Once again, wanting to cut that one away, misses out. Well, good stuff this by Ananya Mahajan. She has given her a couple of wides, but she keeps on getting in those dot deliveries. Another swing and a miss. Well, once again, it's been given as a wide. I'm not sure about that one. It looked pretty close. And she's not happy with herself, that Ananya Mahajan, because she's been superb throughout. And the last thing that she wants is giving away wides. And the wides is not really the issue. It's still only 3 runs of the over. But now, if she gets hit for a boundary, it just spoils everything, doesn't it? And she wouldn't want that. Wides can be avoidable. Meanwhile, in the air, it will clear the infield. Won't quite have enough legs to reach the boundary. A couple of runs taken by Rachel Carroll. Well, this is good by the Australian. In fact, surprisingly enough, they took only a single. So now Dillon is on strike. And this time the ramp is connected. Will it find the fence? Not quite so. It was pretty wide. Not quite straight enough, and the fielder does get across. So now one more delivery left in this fifth over for the ACD Meteors. They need less than 100 now, 97 required from 91 deliveries. And this time played in the air, inside out, over the infield. And that will run away to the fence. Well, that is exactly what I was talking about. It's a big over in the end. 10 runs come off it, thanks to those three wides as well. And now at the end of the fifth, the ACT Meteors building a nice little partnership, 32 for 1. Well, Niharika Gautam is into the attack now, bowling the last over of this power play. So a change in the bowling. Yashimoto has been saved. A couple of overs of hers have been saved. This time lifted through the offside and lifted beautifully well. That goes away to the fence. That's another boundary for Rachel Carroll. And runs are flowing now. These two are really set. And they are getting the odd boundary as well. Well, that one could be one of the shot of the day so far. That's a brilliant hit. Never easy through the offside, and she's just lofted that one over the infield for a boundary. That's excellent batting by Rachel Carroll. And now the wicketkeeper is up at the stumps. Because she does not want her to charge down the wicket, but she will do that nonetheless. The mid on was pushed back, and a single on offer on the bounce. Just missing his run up out there. Harika Gautam. This time it was a slow one and it's been lofted. And in the air, and another chance gone begging. Would you believe it? Another let of this for the ACT Meteors, but that should have been the second. Well, Niharika Gautam is applauding the fielder there for the effort, but she will know deep down that that could have been a wicket for her in this Women's Japan Premier League in her very first. Well, that's a full toss. Will that be called a no ball? It's in the air. This time it's taken. But is that given as a no ball? Yes, it is. Niharika Gautam cannot believe her luck. Well, she did charge down the wicket, but still it was too high as liking. And now a free hit coming up. Well, it will be Brie Dillon to face the free hit, and Rachel Carroll will survive on that no ball. So, opportunity for Brie Dillon. And she's brought in the reverse sweep. It's so slow. It was the back of the hand delivery, and she's completely deceived by the slower one. She has a big laugh in the end and gets away with the free hit, does Niharika Gautam. That's good, smart piece of bowling. And now the last delivery of the power play coming up. Once again, hits that one hard down the ground and beats the fielder inside the circle. That will run away to the boundary. So it's an excellent ending to the power play. They got 10 of the fifth, 12 of the sixth. And at the end of the sixth, now it's 44 for 1 for the ACT Meteors and very much in control in this chase. Just 81 more required from the remaining 14 overs. As you see the replay of that shot, once again, it was a slow one and using a lot of power to beat the fielder in mid-off and for it to run away to the fence. Well, they have finally got the breakthrough, and it's the big wicket of Rachel Carroll. Well, a change in the bowling has worked out. Gurbani Nihal, well, she is an excellent all-round cricketer. Have a look at the amount of turn that she got on it. Completely undone by the turn. And Rachel Carroll will have to depart. It's 44 for 2 for the ECT Meteors. And, well, a timely wicket you would feel for the Pacific Sunrays. Well, it's been a brilliant over so far as Leon's comes in at number 4. And Grace Leon's the wicketkeeper. Attempts the reverse sweep, so an excellent over by Gurbani Nehal coming to an end. It's a wicket maiden, just what they needed. The Pacific Sunrays, it's 44 for 2 now after 7 overs. Well, the partnership that was out there with the bat is now out here with the ball. Once again, a reverse sweep, and it's taken. It's gone straight towards the fielder. And another set batter gone. It's Bree Dillon who will have to depart now and go. It's Vidge, Guharika Vidge, who strikes here. And that's the third one gone. They are stranded at 44. They got 44 in the first six, and they just haven't got the move on here. A twist in this game. Well, that shot was never on with the fielder out there at backward point, and she just played it straight towards her. And it's 44 for 3 now, and Guharika Vidge strikes off her very first. Well, in comes Stella Wilde. Guhikovic has taken a wicket of her very first delivery. And once again, slightly slow and like finding a lot of turns, Stella just pushes it on the offside. Well, not quite able to get the score moving from 44 at the moment. Will that be given as a wide? Yes, it is. So finally, they move on to 45. Well, 80 more required now with two new batters at the crease, Stella Wilde and Leons. Once again, a lot of flight offered. It's been cut away, and they should get that single. They will get it quite comfortably. So gets off the mark does Stella Wilde and brings Leons on strike. Well, 79 required of 75. They are very much still in control here, the ACT Meteors, but they can't afford to lose more wickets. Another reverse sweep attempted and almost carried to the fielder. Well, it's gone right through in the end, though. A misfield, allowing them to come back for the second and for Leons to get off the mark. Well, in fact, it's gone away to the fence. I wasn't pretty sure that it had so much of power on it. Well, that has brought up the 50 nonetheless. 50 for 3 now. Well, a good enough shot to get that boundary and bring the target down to 75 required of 74 and almost a run a ball once again. Well, the first thing for them to do is to not panic. That's a dot delivery, maybe just brushing the pad. So the last delivery of this Guhikovic over. It's been cut away and only for a single out there towards the sweeper. So that is the end of the eighth with the score now at 51 for 3 for the ACT Meteors. Well, no surprises, Gurbani Nehal is going to continue. And she has bowled superbly well. Not conceded anything yet. Not even offering a sniff. That is how good she has been. One wicket, no runs in her 1.1 overs. Well, this time it's in the air. Again a chance and it's dropped in the end. Would you believe it? Almost carrying out there to the fielder. Well, it did carry as well. She did run in on that occasion. Not quite able to hold on. Well, this is outstanding by Gurbani Nehal. Once again, charging down the wicket. Has that clear the infield? Well, yes, it has. And they come back for the second. So finally, some runs conceded by Gurbani Nehal. It wasn't going to be as if she was going to bowl four consecutive maidens like Lockie Ferguson, but once again in the air, chance, and she has misjudged it. Would you believe it? Well, it's all happening out there at the Sano International Cricket Ground. This time an appeal by Gurbani Nehal, but no says the umpire. Excellent over once again, just the three of it. It is 54 for 3 after 9. We entered the 10th over now, and well, thankfully for Leons, she got her back to it. In fact, it was still a wild day on that occasion. Otherwise, that could have been another stumping. Once again in the air, another chance, and once again short of the fielder. Well, nothing is going to hand at the moment. Living really dangerously here, these two. Now a wide down the leg side. Once again charging down the wicket, and she did not let her back foot go out of the crease. Wanted to make sure that she will be inside the crease even if she misses it. And that is what she has done there, Leons. But once again, superb bowling this by Guhikovic. But once again in the air and lofted over the fielder and mid off. Well, will that find the boundary? It seems like it will. Yes, it does. So a boundary for Leons, and that will release some pressure out here for the ACT Meteors. Nicely played over the infield on the offside, and a much welcome boundary this. But this partnership is growing nicely now between the two, Wild Day and Leons. And now the reverse sweep attempted. It's gone straight to the fielder. So a dot delivery for Guhikovic. At the last delivery of this 10th over, and slightly short, pulled away on the leg side. The chase is on, and the ball is going to win the race. That's another boundary for Leons. This is excellent batting. She is doing the job out here for the ACT Meteors. Well, 11 come off it in the end. And the task is once again getting easier and easier for the ACT Meteors. Just 60 more needed of the last 10, and they are now 65 for 3 at the end of the 10th over. Alright, then we continue now after the drinks break. The 60 required more at a runner ball from here on for the ACD Meteors and sitting in a comfortable position. Having it to chase this, well, Gurbani Nihal is going to continue. The two Indians operating with the spin. And Gurbani Nihal has been very economical. Just the 3 runs conceded in the first 2 overs, as that shot was played on the leg side by Stella Wilde, brings Grace Leons back on strike, the wicketkeeper for the ACT Meteors. Well, she's searching for those boundaries, and she's been good. She has got a couple of boundaries in the previous over. This time misses out. Well, the match is definitely slightly in the favor of the ACT Meteors, but a couple of wickets once again just turn things around. That is what they need out here. Well, direct hit was needed there for the Pacific Sun Rays. And they get across for a quick single. Once again, cut away. In the gap as well for a single. Once again, nicely cut away on the offside. Another single taken. Happy to take those singles, especially up against someone like Guharika Nehal. Now she drives it straight to the fielder. So that is now the end of the 11th over with the score at 70 for 3. 5 runs come off it. Well, Gujikovic continuing. Well, in fact, it is a change in the bowling. It is Kadir who started off really well with the bat and now having to do it with the ball. She needs some wickets for her side. And another quick single taken. Noora Abdul Kadir, the bowler. And now the reverse sweep attempted. She's played it over the infield. And that will go away to the boundary. This is excellent batting by Grace Lyons. Beautiful placement once again. And playing it with the turn as well. And finds another boundary. And now played on the leg side. Finds the fielder out there in the deep. Well, now they need less than a 50 more. 49 required from 50 deliveries. And sitting in a very comfortable position here, the ACT Meteors. Just not wanting to make any kind of a meal out of these things. This partnership is worth 32 now. Going slowly and steadily. Another single down the ground. So now one more delivery left in this 12th over. Another reverse sweep attempt. This time it was missed out. So that is now the end of the 12th. It is 77 for 3. 7 runs come off the Noora Kadir over. Right then, they are back with pace. Yasumoto is continuing. Manoa Yasumoto. Well, they need wickets now. Desperately, the Pacific Sunrays. And 47 needed of 47. They're cruising at this stage here, the ACT Meteors. But well, cricket is a funny game, and we have seen a lot of funny games out here at the Sano International Cricket Ground as well. We have seen a couple of tight overs just turn things around, and then those wickets just keep on tumbling. Meanwhile, the ramp shot is being brought in once again by Grace Lyons. And there's no one out there. It won't quite find the fence though. We'll come back for the second. In fact, the third. So really good running between the wickets. As they inch closer and closer. Well, this partnership is now worth 37, and it just keeps on growing, although the bulk of the scoring has been done by Grace Leons. Just pushing that one on the offside. Dot delivery. This time driven out there towards long off and finds another single. Well, a decent over this, apart from that triple that was scored by Yasumoto for the Pacific Sunrays, but they need wickets. It won't quite work out if it keeps on going on in this kind of fashion. They are desperate for wickets here. 44 needed of 45, 43 or 44 now. And once again, wanting to play behind square, and somehow she has managed to wrong foot the wicketkeeper to get across for another single. Well, one more delivery left now in this 13th. And it's been cut away really nicely. Well, it's in the gap. Once again, won't quite find the fence, will it? Well, yes, it does in the end. Very unfortunate for Yasumoto. She has bowled out an expensive over in the end here. 10 coming off it and cruising at this stage. This partnership just keeps on growing, and this is really good batting by the ACT Meteors. These two are doing a very professional job out here. At the end of the 13th, it's 87 for 3 now for the ACT Meteors. Right then, 38 required of 42, and that's a loosener. And that will also be dispatched away to the fence. Excellent batting once again. This time it is Stella Wilde. Bringing the target down to just 34 more required. Well, it was a flighted delivery, and she had a lot of time to set herself up. And she has played that one beautifully, knowing exactly where the fielders are. Well, that's another opportunity. She's missed out on that occasion. Well, she is tempting her to go for those big shots as well. Meanwhile, is Kadir, Noora Kadir. She batted superbly well, didn't she, inside that power play, scoring those 24 runs, a quick fire 24 of 17, but not quite working out with the ball at the moment. Another single taken. But now Stella Wilde is on strike. It's been played upish down the ground and for a single. Well, they are accumulating these runs quickly now, the ACT Meteors. And this partnership is now worth 49, just one away from completing the 50-run stand for this fourth wicket. Reverse sweep attempted, and she has played that shot ever so well throughout this afternoon. And that will be another boundary for Grace Leons. And also bring up the 50 partnership between the two. It's worth 53 now. And inching closer and closer to a victory in their very first game of the 2026 season of the Women's Japan Premier League. Absolutely brilliant piece of batting this by Grace Leons. And she is marking a statement out here. Moves on to 37 of 27. This time quicker through the air by Noura Kadir. It's a dot to close it out. Well, a couple of fours coming in that one. 10 of it in the end. It's 97 for 3. 28 required of the last 6. Right then, Ananya Mahajan is back into the attack. 3 overs, none for 19 for her. She has been wicketless, but she has kept things tight. She did really well inside that power play, apart from that third over, where she conceded a plenty. Well, Stella Wilde is on strike now. 28 required of 36. And these two would be wanting to finish the game off and stay right there till the end. A shot played on the leg side will only be a single. The field is set exactly for that kind of a shot. Well, it's been a brilliant chase out here, especially after losing those couple of wickets at 44. There was a span of 8 to 9 deliveries where they were stuck on 44. They were 44 for 1 after the first 6, and then outside the power play, they struggled up until the 7.3 number of overs. The next 9 deliveries, they lost 2 wickets, did not get any runs, but these two have really gone superbly well as we see another ramp shot coming in by Grace Leons. And well, it has found the boundary. Would you believe it? That brings up the 100, 102 for 3. That backward square leg fielder had no chance to get across using the pace of the bowler of Ananya Mahajan. And now just 23 away from victory here, the ACT Meteors. And it seems like they are going to start their campaign with the victory. And now through the offside, over the infield. And this time it won't quite find the fence, but they should get a couple of runs and they will make it quite comfortably. And now a wide down the leg side and it's gone through the wicket keeper. Those will be bonus runs. 5 bonus runs, and Ananya Mahajan, well, she has lost her line on that occasion. And this is turning out to be a very expensive over. 12 have come of it already, only halfway through it, and just 16 more needed for the ACT Meteors. Well, the wicketkeeper not quite able to collect it. Well, the keeping has been very good throughout the day, apart from that moment. And once again, bringing in the ramp. Well, it's in the air and it's fallen just short of the fielder. And they get across for a single. This time a thick inside edge. And another single taken. Well, one more delivery is still left in this over, and 13 runs have been accumulated. Just 15 more needed for the ACT Meteors. Well, they will be very much aware of how important it is to try and finish off quickly, because the net run rate will definitely come into play in the later on league stage format, as there are just four teams and the top two qualify for the finals. Very important to keep your net run rate healthy. Another single taken meanwhile by Stella Wilde. A bit of a hesitation at the beginning. In the end, they take it. So at the end of the 15th now, it's a Nelson for three. Right then. Rubani Nihal continuing, played in the air by Stella Wilde, and it lands safely, and they're coming back for the second. Well, in fact, it's gone away to the fence. So now just 10 more needed. Well, they're getting it done pretty quickly now. Gurbani Nehal. Well, she gave away just the 8 in her first three. Once again, cut away, but straight to the fielder. And now wanting to sweep that one away. Misses out completely. Well, Grace Lyons would be wanting to get her half century. And she is on 44, 10 required. She needs 6 more. Well, this has been a brilliant partnership, though. Take nothing away from this partnership. Worth 71 between the two for this fourth wicket. They came in at a stage where their side was in a spot of bother. Both of them were very new to the crease. Grace Lyons had played a couple of deliveries, was yet to get to the mark. Stella Wilde came in, where a passage of play came in without any runs for about 8 to 9 deliveries. And these two have anchored it really well. Just 9 more needed, and Grace Lyons is on strike. Well, she will be wanting to go behind square, and she has cut that one away. Well, once again, the chase is on. She will take a couple of runs, won't quite find the fence, not enough pace on the ball, and she moves on to 46. And once again, cuts it away, but straight to the fielder. So that is now the end of the 16th. An excellent spell by Gurbani Nehal comes to an end. 4 overs, 1 for 15. But very unfortunate that she will be ending up on the losing side. It's 118 for 3 after 16. 7 more needed of the last 4. when they were in a spot of bother. As we see the batting card out there, well, Bray Dillon started off nicely, scoring 18 runs. A nice little partnership between the two, Bray Dillon and Rachel Carroll. But then once they lost those couple of wickets at 44, they were in a spot of bother. But have a look at that innings. Grace Leon's 50 of the 37, shifting through the gears. Started off with singles, then she pushed on with those doubles and triples, and then once she crossed 30, she just kept on going. After that aggression in the middle overs, she was supported superbly well by Stella Wilde. And the bowling card, as you can see, Ananya Mahajan, 4 overs, none for 23. Just not her afternoon today. Nonoa Yasumoto, she got the opening wicket. And Gurbani Nehal, well, she got a wicket maiden first up. And that was the moment where you started to feel as if they are getting a bit nervy, the ACT Meteors. But didn't quite work out. Guiga Vij also with a wicket. As you can see, the fall of wickets 5 for 1, 44 for 2, 44 for 3, and then no wickets at all. The partnership worth 80 for the fourth wicket, unbeaten. As you can see, that seventh over, no runs at all, a wicket maiden, which was bowled by Gurbani Nehal. But after that eighth over, there are no white dots at all. That is how good these two were, Grace Leons and Stella Wilde, who get their side home in this match number 2 of the season number 2 of the Women's Japan Premier League. As we see the comparison, well, they were pretty much behind for quite a while, and once they lost those 3 wickets, they started to slowly grow up. And once they kept on getting closer and closer, Grace Leons just perfectly manufactured this victory for her side as they get home and win this game quite comfortably with 3 overs to spare in the end, and they win this one by 7 wickets. Well, that comparison also tells us a lot about the innings that was played by the PRS. Nonetheless, 124 for 5 is what they posted. Well, at one stage it looked as if 160 or even 170 is on the cards, but an outstanding spell of bowling in the end by the spinners working out. Breedel on 3 wickets, absolutely superb. Contributed with the bat as well, 18 runs for her. And in response, the ACT Meteors, well, they just cruised through. They were struggling at one stage at 44 for 3. They were in a spot of bother, but Grace Leons and Stella Wilde, unbeaten both of them, 50 not out and 24 not out, making all the difference. And they win this game by 7 wickets and 3 overs to spare. Well, that was it from match number 2 in this season's Women's Japan Premier League. I was your commentator Piyush Nathani for this game. And until tomorrow, 2 more games coming to you live from the Sano International Cricket Ground. We will be back and we hope to see you soon once again. Until tomorrow, goodbye.